Alright, so a good friend of mine asked me to record an anti-Testament video. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. This is going to be kind of a simplified video, and also I'm not really going to cover a lot of things with the matchup. I'm not going to cover neutral particularly heavily, because most people, generally know how Testament works in neutral. They kind of, these are fireballs, these are big buttons, these are situations that players are generally familiar with how to fight on their character. So I'm not really going to cover it, because it's kind of like, that would be the same as how do you fight a lot of characters, and going into, matchup-specific stuff and, that sort of nitty-gritty stuff is just going to be dated so quickly that I'm not going to fuss with it. So, let's talk about the corner control. So, this is the main thing that players do not know what to do about, and most players, particularly against me, that I'll see, they just kind of flail and do stuff and hope. They don't really know how the corner game works. And this is really just a knowledge check thing of playing patience. A lot of what Testament does seems scary, but isn't. And it's, pretty common basic stuff. So, most of Testament's corner game is built out of this situation right here. This right here is the main... Let me not have her attacking. This is the main situation that Testament builds her offense off of, or builds their offense off of. So, Testament has a bunch of things that they can do. So, and it's really scary, and it's a very plus situation, and it's kind of like holding Kai charts on edges, that there's just a lot of things that could come. So, and it's in the corner, it is at its absolute strongest. Like, mid-screen, there's not a lot that they can do. But, in the corner, they get whatever they want. They get the world. So, it is... So, let's go ahead and talk about kind of the basic things that they do. So, let's first talk about this mix-up. Baby's first Testament mix-up, right? This looping corner setup that is really strong. This setup is really strong, but it has one big problem, which is that if you FD it, it's just a 50-50, and if you FD it, look at how far Testament is. Like, even 6H whiffs at this range. Like, 6H whiffs at this range. You're so far away. So, yes, it's a 50-50, and it's very difficult to fuzzy the difference between this. But if you just pick an option and you FD, you're, like, and also if I have it on Switch, right? Right, where they do... No, let's do the low. Look at how far away they are still. Like, far slash. The biggest far slash in the game whiffs. So it's super far away. If you ever pick an option, you FD it, you're out of pressure, right? Get pressure's over, it's done. So that threat is not annulled because it is a mix-up and there is damage behind it. Like, if I have them just getting hit by this. Let me do it correctly. Right, there is damage here. They do the full combo. Okay, never mind, I'm not a Testament player. Right, something like that, or, you can also end with this. It does about 200 damage, right? It's, yeah, there's real threat there. And similarly, this loops. So, really tough situation if you don't FD. But if you guess right and FD, it's just over. So, that's how you deal with that setup. The other thing that Testament tends to do is something like H button into Crow. Something like this. And this situation, and let's turn off Flawless Defense because you don't need to Flawless Defense this. We'll get into why later. Is pretty strong. So, how you deal with this is a few ways. First is that if you are far away, and this is something FD can help you get, if you are far away, you can often just jump out of this. Some characters can't, like if you play Gold Lewis or someone with really slow vertical acceleration, you can't jump out of this and the matchup sucks. in the corner. Like, it sucks to fight out of the corner with those characters. But it's still fine, right? So if you can jump out of it, like, you're not out of trouble, but the position then becomes Testament is minus because you jumped out of their attack. They have to try and control you with these buttons and take risks. And if you super jump, often you just get out, right? If you're Soul, you just fly away. You know, a lot of characters, it's an escape, right? It's an option. It's a chance to escape. And if they are close, like let's say they do this, right, where it jails, that situation sucks. So do try and recognize the distance that you're at, because if you block the crow in the air, Testament gets a really strong mix-up. A really strong, like, strike, throw, curse situation, right, where they're point blank with Stain. They can do a billion things, and all of them are good. They can tap dust, and then pop, and then frame trap, and all sorts of nasty stuff. So don't, you know, like, let's actually show that. Well, okay, so Maze Jump is too strong, but you get the idea, right? It's a really scary situation to block that in the air. Now the other thing is they often will just be like here, and they'll throw, and they're plus, right? But they're not so plus that they can run up on you, right? They'll just throw crow and they'll do something like this, right? The thing about this is if you look at the chip damage, right? Hang on, let's do the chip damage correctly. Like, so there's barely any chip damage on this, and there is almost no risk built, right? It got to the end of the B, which is like close slash, right? That's about how much risk got built, right? It's essentially just a close slash worth of risk. That's not very much. It's just not. So you can sit there and just block this. It's fine. What isn't fine is the amount of meter that Testament is building in this situation. So, like, if they throw crow and they do far slash, look at how I built a quarter bar doing this situation. So I built about 1/6 of a bar here, and then I throw crow, and I do this, and then I do this again. I'm building another chunk of meter, and that's not super good for fighting Testament, because once they have meter, all of a sudden, this situation is really tough to deal with. You know, that situation is tough. So once they have meter, these far away situations are way scarier. But if they don't have meter, these far away situations, there is no threat. There's in fact so little of a threat that you can do a slow button like far slash. Right, so they'll throw like crow, and then they try and actually let's have it on hit, right? So let's have it on hit so that it really brings it home that this is like an ideal situation. Right. They cannot run up and do a mix-up. Like, there's just not enough time, even with slow buttons. I'm doing Maze Far Slash to kind of prove a point. You can fuzzy mash this, like, really late and still stop them from running up and getting into a position where they can do a mix-up with the Stain State. So, basically, all they really get to do is they get to set up a new... all they really get to do is they get to set up a position. Which is... So they'll do something like this, right? Oh, okay, well... Right. They are plus on Crow, by the way. Crow is pretty much always plus. I don't think it's ever not. But they're not so plus that they can, like, run up. So let's go ahead and see, like, this kind of thing. So if they are in this situation, they throw that out, they can set up another Succubus. And this situation, like, with a Succubus at this range, yes, Testament is in a good position, but they're not in such a good position that you can't fight out. It's a very even situation, particularly off of this right here. This is minus at pretty much all ranges. So if I do, like, this, and I try and press far slash, or even if I try and do, like, 5k, right, this is a much faster button, it's trading. Testament's pretty much always minus on this move, except at, like, this range out here, or if they charge it. But if they charge it, they have a huge hurt box, and you know you can contest pretty easily on any button, right? Well, okay, well, you get the idea. Right, these sort of things, their hurt box is huge, and they're being greedy. This is like Kai doing charge stun edge in your face. You just hit him, or you jump out, right? So if you are on jumping mode, right, and they do something like this, right, they jump out. Even on the air block of like this, that situation is not that bad, right? So, right, that's not that bad. As you saw, that 5K did not frame trap the 5 frame. That means you could have mashed there. It's not the end of the world to block the H1 in the corner. So if you just hold up, like, if you just try and react to jumping up with it. Now, obviously, that situation right there where you kind of like jump into it is not great. I'm gonna try and set that up again. I don't know. I do actually see this happen a lot when I'm playing Testament, but so that far slash almost tagged that. But you know that's an escape point. What is not an escape point is this one and this one, which are both very plus. These two are plus. Right, that's plus. Okay, so yeah, this is a situation, like, if you block this, like, yes, this position is good for Testament, because they're just sitting there, but they are technically minus. And so you can take action to escape. They have to read you to control you. They can, I mean, obviously they've got the best air-to-air in the game. They've got bigger buttons that can easily whiff punish stuff if you challenge incorrectly. But they are minus, so this is a good place to just kind of, like, dash up, take space, dash up 2K, that kind of thing. Pay attention to how Testament acts after you block this, because they are minus, and you can usually force an interaction there that's in your favor. Because if they try and do like this, well, you just escaped. If they try and do like this to catch the jump, which catches most characters' jumps, but does not catch Mei, because Mei is too good. Right, if they try and catch that situation, then your risk is jacked, but you didn't get hit, so it's okay. And they're far away, so they're not going to get a mix. Unless they have meter, in which case, die, right? In which case, you know, in which case, the situation is real bad. You know, this sort of situation is... It catches the jump and frame traps, so it's you have to hold that. Okay, so that is the basics of fighting Testament in the corner. I probably didn't cover something, but you know these one-take ones are hard to do. Not that all of my videos aren't one-takes, but you know. So. I will say this is actually my second time recording this, because I didn't realize my microphone wasn't working on the other one, so... Oops. Hopefully I covered it as well as I did the last time, but we'll watch the video and find out. Have a good day.